Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to do a sign that I'm going to use my Silhouette Cameo to make the decal, to draw out the design on it, and then lay that down on the piece of wood, paint it, stain it, cut it out, and get everything done with it. It's going to be a nautical sign, so we're going to go ahead and get started and I'll show you how to do it. After playing around with the design, this is what I've kind of liked the most, so this is what I'm going to go with. And here's my Silhouette Cameo cutting the decal out. So once this gets done, we'll get to moving with the rest of it. Okay, so after cutting everything out on the Silhouette Cameo, this is what I've ended up with. What I did is, this is the vinyl, the red. I just weeded everything out that I want the paint to go onto. So the paint's going to go everywhere that you see the lighter color or the color of the wood. So basically now all I have to do is take the transfer tape off, and then it'll expose this. And I'll go ahead and paint this, and I'm going to use the acrylic paint. So what I'm going to do to make it look antique is I'm going to paint all this with the acrylic paint, let it dry, and once it dries I'm going to come back over the paint and everything with the wood stain, which will give it that aged look. And then of course my final thing that I have to do is go ahead and do something with the edges to dress them up and route them and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the painting. Alright, so now I'm just peeling the transfer tape back. So since you're sticking the decal to wood, it doesn't want it here really well, so you just kind of work it to peel this off, make sure everything stays that's supposed to stay. And we're almost there. So let's see here. Alright, so that's it. I got transfer tape off, and now I'll go ahead and make sure all my lines here and like right here, make sure they're all mashed down really good. But what I'll do with that, because it's smoother than my fingers, I'll use a paper towel. That way it'll slide, and make sure all the edges are down so no paint will seep up under the decal. So once I get that done, I'll let the paint completely dry, and then I'll just remove this big decal here. Here's what it looks like after I got the paint on it. So I'm gonna probably let this dry pretty good, which this craft paint actually dries pretty fast. So I'm gonna set it in the sun, let it dry pretty good, and then I may come back with one more coat over top of it. And then when I get that done and it dries, I'll go ahead and peel the decal off. All right, as you can see, I've already started peeling this off, peeling it back. So it's just as simple as that. It's just grabbing a hold to it. A little tedious, but taking your time, making sure you get every little piece of vinyl. So this is what you're left with after you remove all the pieces of the decal. And this is some old pine. You can see right here where it had a little tear out. So I'm going to try to touch that up the best I can. There's the little tear out here. And then of course got a little tear out here. So when you remove the decal, it's best to go against the grain, because if you go with the grain, that's what causes the tear out. But sometimes there's no helping it, it's gonna happen. So what I'll do is, like these little spots, I'm gonna try to sand around them best I can. But then again, when I go to stain it, it's gonna hide a lot of that. But I'm gonna get a little art paintbrush and a little bitty fine tip paintbrush, and I'm gonna try to touch these little spots up right here real quick. And then I'm gonna go ahead and cut as you can see, it's a really long board. I'm gonna cut it down to size and route the edges. I've done this before on one of my videos. I'm just using a disc grinding disc to use it lining it up on the corner, and I'm using that to make my edge so I know where I'm gonna cut on the bandsaw. So basically, I've got all 4 corners marked now. So I'm gonna take it over to my bandsaw, cut them out, and then get ready to route the edges. Now I'm gonna use my little trim router I got from Harbor Freight for like 20 bucks. And the bit that's in it is the Roman Ogee. And I got it set probably 1/4 of an inch past the stopper of the bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing routed. Alright, so this is after I cut all the corners and routed the edge. So that's the edge there. Give you an idea. Alright, so now I got my gloves and I'm going to go ahead and throw some stain on it. Okay, so here's the sign after it's completed with the stain, but it's still drying. But when you do that craft white and then you throw the stain over it, it kind of gives that white an antique look, which is what I really like. So the stain I used is Early American. Pay no attention to that water slide in the bed of that trailer. But anyhow, so here's the edges. And here's the sign. So basically now, after this dries, the person I'm giving it to, they can either put the hooks on the back to hang it, or either do a rope that would match the nautical theme on it to hang it. So I'm gonna leave that up to them, but my job was just to put the sign out. So, like always, if you like the video, like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.